Hey, how's it going, Periscope folks? Hey, this is Bishop Derek Day, and I wanted to talk to you about the difference between something that's authentic and something that's fake. How many times have you purchased something only to find out later that it was not authentic? You may have purchased a handbag, or you may have purchased a watch, and there's a litmus test to figure out whether something is authentic or not. For example, on a Rolex watch, if the second hand doesn't sweep, if it ticks, it's probably a fake. Or if it has a glass back on it, it's probably a fake. Likewise, there are litmus tests for testing whether or not gold is real. For example, if you dip it in battery acid and it turns green, well, it's not gold, it's something else. Likewise, a lot of people have been sold an inauthentic gospel or fake gospel. People have been sold a bill of goods. Because here's the deal. If it isn't Christ, if it doesn't reflect Jesus, if it doesn't reflect love, if it doesn't reflect grace, if it doesn't reflect liberty, it's not authentic. And I'm going to tell you something, that in Mark 16:15, Jesus gave us the command to preach the gospel to every creature. Now, mind you, he didn't say preach the law. He didn't say preach the prophets. He didn't say preach the Psalms. He didn't say preach the Proverbs. He said preach the gospel, the too good to be true news of Jesus, his kingdom, his love, and his grace. Now, let me give you 3 points through which you can tell if a gospel message is truly a gospel message. Because understand, it may be biblical, it may be scriptural, it may have a sound hermeneutic, or it may have good exegesis, but it may likely not be the gospel. Here's the first thing, love. John 13:35 says, "By this shall all men know that you are my disciples, that you have love one for another." If there's no love in the message, it ain't the gospel, and you can reject it. Number 2, liberty. In Luke chapter 4 and then in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, liberty is revealed. The spirit of the 2 Corinthians 3:17 says, "Now the Lord is that spirit, and where the spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty." So if you reverse engineer that statement, if there's no liberty in it, then the spirit of the Lord ain't there either. And that means it ain't the gospel, and you can reject it. The third thing is grace. Grace is the central point of the gospel. If there is no grace, there is no gospel. If there is no grace, it's all bad news. Why do I say that? Because if you mix just a small portion of law with grace, you get law. If you mix a small portion of poison with good food, you get poison. Amen. So the deal is that if there is no grace, there is no gospel. Jesus is the embodiment of grace. He is full of grace and truth. Grace and truth came by him while the law came by Moses. So if you mix the law with grace, you've got law. And that's basically poison. And it causes people to fall from grace, and it frustrates grace, which frustrates God. I hope this helps you, because you need to learn how to discern between what is authentic and what is fake. The real gospel is God's unconditional love and grace. If it's anything other than that, it ain't the gospel. I'm Bishop Derek Day. You can check me out at www.derekday.com. Hit me up on Facebook or on Twitter. Love to hear from you. Love you, and stay blessed.